Okay, when updating the crew calendar, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to the home screen. You're going to want to go to crew calendar. And what you're going to see is you have a couple of views here. This view on the right, the company calendar, is the actual calendar. And the calendar filter on the left actually filters this calendar on the right, right? So you see if I click this, these are all the confirmed events. If I click tentatively, this shows all the tentatively scheduled events. Now, and same with all of these, right? So if I choose one of these jobs on here and they're on the crew calendar, it will show them on here. So this is just a way to get everybody in the company on the same page and they can view this. And this actually pastes all this data into a Google Calendar called Erie Calendar. So you could use that to either subscribe on your Outlook to view the calendar from there. But if you're adding events and stuff like that, you're going to want to do it all here. You can also filter the calendar by employee, and you can select multiple employees in this. So you can see BM, the initials, Blake Marcus, Andy Poulos. It's showing both of all the events that they're scheduled for. Below that, you have a drop down that opens a secondary view on the right of this. So the big one that I use the most is probably unscheduled jobs. So this shows the entire backlog amount that we have and all the jobs. There's the total right there. And these are the jobs that we need to get started on or have to put on the schedule. So if they're on the schedule, they'll disappear from here. If they're not, then they won't. And what these are, these little eyeballs are removed from unscheduled. So a lot of these U of R jobs Justin just does, and we don't ever actually put them on the schedule because you might be getting like 3 of these done in a day. So if you keep clicking this remove from unscheduled button, it'll clean up all this entire section. So if you don't see contract amounts there, that's because there was either a T&M job and they would need to be added into the job details page. The breakdown of jobs for selected employees, you can see we don't have any selected employees on here, so it shows everybody. But let's say if I pick Brian Korn, it'll show the jobs right here that Brian Korn has got coming up and their dates. So this is what Brian has on this calendar past today's date. And what you have is a start and an end date filter. So this filter, it's okay because what it does is it will only filter dates between like 9/2 and 9/5. So even if your job is going past 9/5, but it's scheduled during this time frame, it won't show on here. So that's the same with this down here. This is the employees not scheduled during selected dates. So really the only people that should be pulling or should be off this right now would be Brian Nunez, Don Prince, Kevin DeLeo. So you'll see those guys won't show up in there. So eventually we're going to tweak those things, but that'll help you when scheduling employees to show who needs to get scheduled for that week. So okay, so I'm going to go back. I'm going to hit clear filter. As soon as you hit that clear filter button, it shows everything again. Okay, and then, so once you've kind of gone through your filters, as long as you don't need anything for that, the main button you're going to be using is add an event right here. So basically add an event is adding to this calendar. So in this choose employed schedule for event or job, you can choose multiple people, right? So if I'm going to choose, I know we have this job on so you choose the job number and it's going to automatically populate the address of the job based on what's put in the job details section. And then you're going to write a description of work that you're doing right there. So meeting Justin on site to walk the job. Material is at the shop. We are going to be installing FireWire and removing the old Vespa system. And then you're going to put the dates that they're going to be working, and I'm going to put myself on here just so you can get a look at how it works. And then, so what it does is as soon as you hit confirmed, all right, it's going to add it to the calendar as confirmed. Email event to attendees. It defaults to no, but once you hit yes, right, what it's going to do is it's going to send all this description to the people listed right here. You hit save, and as soon as it's done syncing, you're going to hear that little email ding. And then you can see right here, it's already added it to my calendar for that time frame. And then what happens is the guys get an email, and in that email, it's going to say, scheduled job for the date, the job number, all that stuff, the dates of when it is, 9/9 to 9/12, scheduled by my name, attendees, and meeting just nuts, and then it gives you the job description of what's going to be happening there. And this gets sent out for every event that you create on there. This calendar is actually tied to a Google Calendar as well. So each employee who has a Erie account with us has a Google Calendar. So it gets added to their calendars as well, and they can see it on there. And that is how you use the Crew Calendar.